And they gathered from the streets of Vilna about 500 young men, young or even middle-aged, but able-bodied men, told us that we would be going to clean up some of the ruins of a nearby town the next day. They would take us, I think they quoted Molodechno, which was a town nearby. They said that the place was bombarded and they need to do some cleaning work. And that's why they are gathering these young people. We stayed overnight in that park. We were loosely guarded. Had we known what's coming, we could have sneaked out and ran away, but we said, well, if that's what has to be done, we might as well go ahead and do it. Next day, they put us on trucks, about 25 or thereabout people to a truck, and took us outside Vilna, about somewhere maybe, I'm not sure, 10 kilometers or so. And that was Ponar, P-O-N-A-R, Ponary in Polish, Ponary. At the time, nobody knew about the place. But when we arrived there was a huge mass grave, a huge ditch prepared. And there were 2 machine guns facing the truck, manned by Lithuanians. And we were told that we cannot talk, we cannot make any commotion, or else the machine guns will go off at the truck. There was one German with a camera who was supervising the operation. And what they were doing was they were taking each man off the truck, ordering him to march towards the ditch. And drunk Lithuanians, some of them in uniform, some of them in civilian clothes, were using a handgun to shoot in the back of the head of the victim. The others on the truck were standing there in disbelief and frozen. And when my turn came, I went towards the grave, and I did not believe that this was the last moment of my life. I just couldn't believe it. And I was going with terror in my heart. And shortly before the ditch, I simply fell. And by miracle, there was a synchronous shot that went off from the Lithuanian at the same split second. And because I fell and he shot simultaneously, he believed that I fell as in consequence of his shooting. Now, they were all drunk, and they were not as alert, probably. So they took the next victim, or possibly the one after, and who fell on top of me. It was a terrible sensation to sense the agony of the dying man who was shot. Anyway, the trucks were coming and the people were being shot. This went on for hours and hours. And when they finished, all the people who were in the park during the night, the machine guns went off and they sprayed, because many people were not quite dead. So they sprayed with bullets inside the grave. Most of them were inside the grave, but there were a few outside the grave. And I wasn't hit even at that point. And then everything was silenced. I think I possibly passed out for a brief time. I couldn't tell you how long, but then when everything was quiet, I opened my eyes, I looked around, I didn't see anybody move or anything going on. So I dug myself out from the body above me, got up and marched toward the place where we came from, because the place was surrounded with barbed wire. So I marched toward the gate from which the truck entered. Well, to my big surprise, there were 2 guards at the gate, and they saw me from distance, and one of them took a shot at me but missed me, and the terrain was hilly, so I bent down and I ran away, and I ran back towards the grave. And I must tell you that this moment was the hardest moment in my entire life of Nazi occupation, or at any time, because here I was, young, healthy, uninjured, and I couldn't get out because I had to climb over the barbed wire, and they would take me off from distance. So my only alternative was to dig very quickly under the barbed wire with my bare hands, which I did. But I had this terrible fear, if I don't make it in time, I will not make it, they'll come and shoot me. But I did make it in time. I stretched myself up, I dug myself out underneath, and got out of the place, and ran down a hill for quite a little bit, and then I saw a house. I entered that house. It was a Polish peasant. I told them my story. They were very kind to me. I washed up. They gave me a shirt to change, and I went back to the city, went home. When I came home, I told it to my family. I told it to the people in our apartment house where we lived, and nobody believed me except my family. You have to realize that this was just a couple of weeks after the Germans came in, and nobody heard about such stories.